Can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
All right. What is it? Friday? Is it Friday? Friday night? Must be the Radio Baloney live on Friday night. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing out there? Good to see you guys. Who we got out there already in the chat? We got Rosie and Izzy in Ottawa and Spambot. Anybody else? Trudeau Survivor. Good to see you guys. Now, before we even start, I've got to acknowledge something wonderful and marvelous that has happened in the chat already. Before we even started, there's like a miracle that has happened in the chat. Rosie has gifted a subscription, a free subscription, gifted a free subscription on Rumble. This is the best thing anybody can do. And that's why we always say anybody who does that is the best person ever. And maybe we should make it official. Sure. You got your heroes. You got those historical figures that did great things, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that they're not great. I'm not saying that they suck. All that I'm saying is, compared to Rosie, they're all human garbage. And one more time, best person ever. Seriously, folks, it is the best thing anybody can do for the channel, gifting these subscriptions. It's really wonderful. I thank you so much, Rosie. And shall we get on with the show? All right. So let's go through the menu. What are we going to talk about? We'll go through the menu real quick. We'll go back to the chat, and then we shall get into these stories in detail. First off, we're just going to see what is happening with these May Day celebrations. There's like the teachers' unions are all involved. It's just a big commie day is what it is. But you got schools involved. I mean, it just shows you what is wrong with Western civilization. It's just the Marxism, the critical pedagogy, as they call it, the revolutionary training. It starts in frickin' kindergarten now. Anyway, the teachers are all out. A bunch of schools cancel classes so the students can go and protest capitalism with their teachers. Anyway, we'll just see what's happening with that. Then we got this guy here. He's hilarious. This Caleb Hammer, who I guess he gives financial advice to dingbats who don't know what they're doing. And it's always really funny when he gets frustrated to them. Here's a couple of, I don't know, I guess progressive dingbats here. And anyway, it's very funny. We will watch it. You'll enjoy it. What do we got here? Pressure on Department of Justice to prosecute Anthony Fauci. Now, he does have that pardon from Biden. There is some question as to whether or not it will be valid, considering the auto pen and all that. I think that it'll probably save him, but anyway, there's a statute of limitations to charge him just in case coming up. So there's some question of whether or not he'll be indicted. This is after David Morenz, his advisor, was indicted. Let's see what else is going on here. What do we got? Oh yeah, we'll talk about the U.S. Voting Rights Act, and it is the Democrats have been able to gerrymander districts based on race, and that's been overturned by the Supreme Court. We're going to look into that. And we have just a Trump moment here, so we don't need to get into that too deep, but we'll get to that. The Carney budget, we will go over this, and yeah, it's not looking good for Canada. I mean, he's doubling the deficit over what it would have been under Trudeau. I mean, I said that Carney was Turbo Trudeau, all right? And I've been proved right on in every instance. All right. Not good for Canada. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's see. Oh, yeah. So the Integrity Commissioner says her office is overwhelmed with complaints about the federal government. World, just pay attention to Canada. Don't be Canada. Canada's a cautionary tale for the world. I'm gonna show that. I'm gonna prove that to you tonight. Not looking good. What do we got going on here? Polls in Canada. This kind of explains why Canada's in the state that it is. It's the 60 and over boomers. Yeah, they're overwhelmingly for lunacy, for the liberal lunacy party. And they are betraying everybody after them, pulling up the ladder after themselves, you might say. And they don't seem to care, and they're very smug about it. Lots of great boomers in Canada. I'm just pointing to the ones here who aren't. What do we got here? World Economic Forum. Look at this. Look at this. Digital ID. They're talking about every bad idea seems to emanate from the World Economic Forum, doesn't it? Let's see. Mark Carney was on the board, World Economic Forum, actually. So that tells you something. Canada immigration. There's our affable half-wit, Gary Ananda Sangari. We call him Gary because his first name is actually unpronounceable. Yeah, anyway. Canada immigration. It's probably not a happy story. What do we got going on here? Yeah, we got some stuff on gender ideology. Here's a mother. Mother of rapid onset gender dysphoria. Anything psychological that's rapid onset, maybe it's not real. And that's something. We'll talk about that. What do we got here? We got the UK. And they are incapable, the elite there, the establishment is incapable of identifying the cause of their problems, of certain problems they have. We will take a look at that. Then we've got the last tab, which is stuff that you guys sent in and some stuff I put in here. And yeah, usually there's some news mixed in here with some funny stuff. Well, there's not actually much tonight. I didn't have time to grab a ton of stuff, but anyway, that's what happens. Listen, anybody watching over on YouTube, subscribe to the second channel, the new channel. It's like 8 months old now. Radio Baloney News. This is where all the clip videos go. All the clip videos that I very carefully and lovingly, make more digestible from the live streams. I lovingly shape them into something that's a little bit faster paced. And sometimes I even add new stuff into it that I forgot during the live stream. So anyway, if you want to see all of that, go to Radio Baloney News, subscribe. The algorithm ain't going to help me out. I can tell you that much. They're afraid of us joining our powers and becoming more powerful than the AI can even imagine. Think about that. Do your part. Radio Baloney News. Subscribe to it now. It's a featured channel on this channel. And look at all this. Sovereign debt fund. Dirty liberal tactics exposed. Communist mayor bankrupting New York City. Who could have guessed that had happened? Fauci advisor indicted. World War XI. World War XI, Elon Omar says. Sorry, 11 Han Omar says. Anyway, you guys know what to do. And I want to, and I also I just got also Fox Live now, just in case those Mayday commies start stirring up at a lot of shit. What are they saying? Tracking the latest geopolitical headlines? Well, that's not really what we wanted. All right. Let's go here to the sanding class. And now everybody knows that we're streaming on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals. And when you like the stream, you get good karma. But when you're early, you get extra. So let's see who's in there first. True to Survivor with the first like. That's 6 good karmas right there. I mean, 1 is plenty just on its own. But 6, I mean, he doesn't have to worry about anything for like at least 3 or 4 days now. He's safe. Rosie, number 2, that's 5 good karmas. Very well done. Izzy, 3 good karmas. Sorry, that's 4 good karmas for Izzy. Boom. 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 I always say boom when that happens. So you know something important is going on. Let's see. What do you got? Oh, Ottawa James got like number 5. So that's what, like, kind of 6, 5, 6. It's like 2 good karmas. I totally did that in my head. It may be wrong. Maybe wrong. What are you guys talking about anyway? Let's see what you guys are talking about before we dive into these stories. Spambot is checked in just to let us know that he's going to bed now. Well, hardest working man in the chat. He's working like something like 37 days in a row or something, like 16 hours a day. Something crazy. We appreciate you checking in. We just want to know you're okay. Let's see. Spambot will catch the replay when he starts work at 2 a.m. That's a champ right there. Izzy says, Rumble keeps bumping me to the next video. That's weird. Must have fucked up the... No, I didn't. Everything's working fine. Let's see. Well, that's weird. Is it working for... Is this stream working for everybody? Okay. Looks like it's fine. Okay. Okay. Now you guys are just talking about stuff I totally don't care about. So let's just keep going. Nevada, how you doing? All right. Nevada got 6, so I don't know. That's like 1.75 good karmas, I believe. Totally did that math in my head right now. Let's see. I'm not saying that, Izzy. I'm not saying that. You can put it in the chat, but I'm not saying it. I'm not reading that. It's a family show. It's a fucking family show, you asshole. So Rebels work at... No offense, Izzy. You know we love you. All right. In fact, let's do this. I feel bad now. Where is it? There it is.
Loves you, baby. You're beautiful.
You hear that? You hear that? All is forgiven. Okay. I don't know. Should we just get to these stories? Let's see what's on this Fox Live now first. I just want to see what they have to say.
So the president claims the EU failed to honor the August 2025 deal, citing noncompliance as the trigger for this 25% hike. For viewers who may not be familiar with that deal, let's just start by breaking that down.
Yeah, so essentially, this was something called...
All right, I'm not really that interested in that. Let's find out what's happening. May Day protests. What's going on? Nick Sortor posted this. Says, WTF, 20 major school districts have canceled classes so that students and teachers can attend anti-capitalism May Day protests across the country. What is a May Day? International Workers' Day is a global holiday dedicated to labor, historically rooted in the fight for an 8-hour workday and championed by socialist, communist, and anarchist groups. So I guess they want a bit more than an 8-hour workday now, don't they? I think they want the means of production. Socialist, communist, and anarchist groups. So exactly the kind of people you want teaching your children about anti-capitalism. This is, we've made videos before about critical pedagogy. That has taken over the education system across the Western world, and it's purely designed to create little revolutionaries, little Marxist revolutionaries. Our public schools are nothing more than taxpayer-funded indoctrination camps controlled by teachers' unions. Yeah. Yep. The Teachers Federation is really big on this stuff. Let's see.
Organizers are putting their progressive message front and center on this Friday, and they say they want to see higher taxes on the rich. Tax the rich. ICE abolished and wars opposed. Those are some of the rallying cries behind today's protests that our critics are now saying are flat out un-American. So these May Day walkouts and staffing issues are disrupting schools, our kids' educations, especially in blue states and cities like Madison, Wisconsin, like Chicago. Out in North Carolina, more than 20 districts are affected by these protests. One Wisconsin mom says, this is more than just a day off.
I'm in shock, although maybe I shouldn't be considering the history of the Madison Metropolitan School District, but they are turning schools into political staging grounds, and this is where they've crossed the line. They are not just indoctrinating the kids in the classroom. They are encouraging actively for students to leave the classroom and go march in the streets with teachers, with administrators.
The Chicago Teachers Union already pushing for a full day off for students. Here is the message that I put out there, quote, "We are not living through ordinary times. His agents are tear gassing our neighborhoods or talking about Donald Trump. Our students have something to say. And we as educators have a responsibility to speak up and support them in finding their voice, their vision, their agency. And
finding their voice, their vision, their agency. This is critical pedagogy, right? You're not supposed to just educate children on like how to read and do math and stuff like that. No, they need to turn you into a liberation activist, or some other word that just means communist revolutionary. And whoever the conservative president is, it's the same thing, right? It's never about the issue. It's always about the revolution. So what else is going on here? Let's see. May Day protesters growing in LA, New York City, DC, Chicago, and beyond, calling for no work, no school, no shopping. Workers instead of billionaires, they say. Workers instead of billionaires. Well, you can have a wealthy society that has lots of billionaires and everybody has a higher standard of living, or you can have a society where a very tiny portion of your population, the elites, the party elites have everything and everybody else is dirt poor, and you'll end up much poorer than you are now in that system. But people never learn, apparently. People never learn anything. Let's take a look.
Washington. But meanwhile, as we mentioned, protests are happening all over the country, including Chicago and, as pictured here, Los Angeles. The crowds seem to have been growing hour by hour here. In some cases, we're seeing marches. Some cases, we're seeing crowds growing, signs up in protests.
It never ceases to amaze me, this commie crap. Like, all we have is the entire history of it. That's all we have. I mean, North Korea exists right now. I mean, that's the perfect socialist society. But people refuse to learn, or they just don't know anything. Well, they're certainly not being taught in school about it. Let's see. Thousands march in massive May Day protest in New York City. Doesn't look that massive, actually. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Are they just chanting gimme, gimme, gimme? I don't know. Let's see. What do we got here? A massive amount of teachers and school staff have stormed to a Marxist and socialist-backed rally in North Carolina. Eric Doherty posted this. Let's take a look.
Statewide protests as more than 20 school districts canceled classes today. Chicago stopped short of canceling classes, but the mayor is encouraging kids to join the protest today.
And so, young people today, you're here by choice. You are here because you are creating action that will turn into power. Do not let anyone take your power away from you as young people.
You are here because you've been indoctrinated by cretins like myself. Let's see what else we got here. From Loomer Unleashed here 9 hours ago, May Day protesters outside the White House are holding 8647 Epstein posters. 8647. Well, we know what that means. Yep. The shooter who tried to assassinate President Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner cited the lie that Trump is a pedo in his manifesto. They really believe this now, right? They just decided it works for them, so they're just going with it 100%. Let's see. Marxist and communist link groups with $2 billion in revenues are organizing today's 3,000-strong May Day protest against President Trump. Let's see. Oh, here's Montreal. We've got plenty of commies in Canada, especially in Quebec, actually. Let's take a look. Who posted this? This was Alexandra Lavoie. Surprising, because those people are normally completely immune from any consequences in Canada. May Day protester climbed to the top of the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge in D.C. and unfurled a black banner. It's a one-man demonstration against the Iran war. Trump must be trembling now. There he is up there. Hey, I mean, that's gutsy. I wouldn't be climbing up there. Not a chance. Not a chance. So you got to admire him for that. Let's see. What's this here? LA Councilman Hugo Soto Martinez just said it's not fair that illegals are not able to vote. I mean, it's just lunacy. Let's take a look.
To recognize that we have folks living in this country who've been here 20 years. They've started a family. They pay their taxes. Many of them are homeowners, but they don't have a say over the policies that affect their children and their families on any given day. The motion only asks to seek to explore whether we want to head in that direction. I think the details of who's going to be involved, how we're going to do it, all that needs to get sussed out. To recognize that we have folks living in this country who've been here 20 years. They've started a family.
I mean, how insane is that? You're encouraging people to break into the country and then give them the vote. Let's see. Tiny turnout at the University of Illinois May Day protest led by foreign activists screeching, "No one is illegal on stolen land, on stolen land. I mean, therefore I am." Same recycled slogans, different day. I mean, there's not much going on here. Let's take a look.
No peace on stolen land. Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente.
Oh, God. Don't they get bored? Like, just bored of themselves? What do we got here? U.S. activists plan May Day economic blackout. No school, no work, no shopping. How did that go? I guess the teachers went through with it. Let's see. So, yeah, it's pretty much, what's this here? Yeah, we already covered that. Here's some more protests. What do they got on their signs here? Abolish ICE. Yeah, it's just the usual stuff. Usual nonsense. Bunch of people supporting something they don't understand. Oh, hold on. What's that? Fund our communities, not war. Resistance. Yeah, tax the rich, resistance. All the usual stuff. It's never, the issue is never the issue. It's always the revolution. Oh, yeah. See, there's the Palestinian flag there. So, again, it's never the issue. It's always the revolution. Hold on. What do we got here? Montreal tonight, where Antifa mixed with pro-Palestine clashing with police for May Day protests. There you go. There you go. Let's see. Educators and school administrators single-handedly canceled school for 700,000 North Carolina students. Matt Van Swoel. Let's see, what do we got here? So, yeah, it's pretty much all the same stuff. First May protests in Turkey. So it's a worldwide commie thing. Commie celebration protest. Join the socialist contingent May 1st. So what's going on here? Danielle Carter, May Day 2026. Parents ask questions. This is indoctrination. Let's take a look.
This is indoctrination happening right in front of our eyes, guys. Ask yourself, why does the Black community consistently vote blue no matter who? We give them 95 to 98% of our vote and been doing it for 50 years. Ask yourself why. It's because for years, they've been led into this trap. Our kids are being registered to vote under the false pretense of teaching democracy, when it's really just a tactic to push them into one-sided thinking. teaching them to vote Democrat, to accept a narrative that doesn't serve them. They create chaos. They create false narratives and scenarios to manipulate our emotions.
And you see, most of this stuff, most of these people out there, is like immigration stuff, like infinite immigration stuff, infinite illegal immigration stuff, giving the vote to illegal immigrants. I mean, the Democrats are actively trying to make the black vote in the United States irrelevant by replacing them. Clearly, obviously, and they talk about demographic change. It's not like it's a big secret. It seems fairly obvious to me. The Patriots were aggressively followed once again by Antifa at the Portland May Day protest. Yeah, well, it's Portland, right? They just run Portland, right? The Antifa, the far left lunatics, they just run that city. Okay, what do we got here? Was there anything? I just want to see if there's any updates here. Hold on. Yeah, May Day protests against Europe and Asia turn into anti-American, anti-Israel political backgrounds. What does just anti-Americanism, just general anti-Americanism and anti-Israeli ideology, what does that have to do with labor? It's supposed to be about labor, right? Labor rights. It shows you it's not about that, right? It's just the revolution. The issue is never the issue. It's always the revolution. Let's update this here and see if there's anything else going on quickly before we move on from this. In fact, let's see. Seeing that. What's this? All right, I think it's all the same. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Oh, here you have the usual suspects in Portland there. ICE can, yeah, okay. I always like to see what nice messages they have on their signs. Revoke the ICE permit. I thought it was about labor. I thought it was May Day was supposed to be about labor. Apparently not. Let's see what's down here. Revoke the ICE permit. So who's like all identical? Like these are like mass-produced signs, right? And you can see these ones here. They're all the same. Who's paying for it? I think we know. It's like George Soros. The guy from Shanghai. What's his name? Neville, whatever his name is. I can't remember. I just saw it earlier today, and I've drawn a blank. But who's paying for this? Somebody's paying for this, right? What else we got? Fight for workers and immigrants' rights. Yeah, they've all just got the same signs here. There's like two different signs, and somebody's just handing them out. Doesn't feel very grassroots, does it? I mean, at old protests, people used to do their own signs, didn't they? Didn't they? Let's see. They should have somebody checking to make sure. Did you make that sign yourself? No? Well, then you can't come. Not allowed. Not authorized. What do we got here? Let's see. All right. I guess we can move on. Let's, what have we got? All right. That's it. Let's get rid of this one. Get rid of this one and get rid of that one. We don't need it anymore. This next one's going to be funny, but let's go to the chat. Danny, how you doing? Good to see ya. Looks like we got Brian out there too. Good to see you over on YouTube. All right, let's get back here in the chat. What are we talking about? No, I'm not reading that. Not reading that. Absolutely not reading that. Rosie says, in my opinion, if they wanted to teach anti-capitalism, they would have students bring all their belongings to school, dump them in a pile, and divide them equally. Divide them evenly. And also, too, they should maybe try, like they could do some role play, like have them wait in a line for 8 hours for a loaf of bread. And then when they get to the end of the line, be informed that there's no bread. Stuff like that. So they could know how great socialism is. Let's see. Let's see. As he says, how about their unemployment and bread lines? Well, they could also have a thing where they pretend to be at home in the middle of at 2:00 in the morning, and then somebody comes in and takes them off to a gulag. They could try that as well. Fun stuff. Let's see. Izzy says they're just waiting for someone to do it right. I mean, what the most unbelievably arrogant and narcissistic thing in the world, right? Well, it hasn't been done right yet. You know, it just hasn't been done right. You know, North Korea is not doing it right. But I know, I'll make it work. Sure. Are you sure you're not going to kill, you're sure like 20 million people aren't going to starve to death? Are you sure? Oh yeah, don't worry. No, I got it. I got this one. Don't worry, it'll be perfect this time. Let's see. Izzy says, fire the commie teachers. At some point, unfortunately, every institution in the Western world has been totally infested and taken over and parasitized by these people. And at some point, the ideas have to be removed from the institutions, root and branch. They just do. I mean, these are just totally corrupting Western civilization at this point. These are people that their ideas that they are determined to indoctrinate children with, their ideas will destroy Western civilization. Right? So civilization is on a razor's edge all the time. We're not at the end of history. Okay? Bad things can still happen. It can still happen that you can watch your family and friends starve in front of you as you starve yourself. That can happen. Civilization is always on a razor's edge. All right. I mean, we're one, electromagnetic pulse away from eating each other in 2 weeks' time right now. We're not at the end of history. And people need to wake up to the reason that people think that we are, that nothing bad could really happen. You can just mess with things. You can destroy things. You can destroy your entire economic system and everything will still be fine. You'll still be able to go get your latte, at Starbucks. Everything will still be fine. It's because they know nothing. They're historically illiterate and they have no perspective whatsoever. Let's see. Ottawa James makes such a good point here. Just says, damn, commies.
And that's nothing but pure and simple old-fashioned communism.
It's true. It's true, Jackie Gleason. It's true. Let's see. Let's see. Ottawa James says Portland is a shithole now. This is what I'm saying. I'm sure there are parts that are still quite pleasant because it used to be a very beautiful city, but apparently the downtown is just a write-off at this point. Rosie says, why are there never school-sponsored trips to North Korea? I think it's the danger of ending up in one of their work camps that you won't emerge from. All right. Nevada says, Jackie's spitting truth. That's right. Well, let's get to the next thing. So this guy is really funny. This was posted by Brandon Tatum. Caleb Hammer. And he deals with people. Caleb Hammer, he gives financial advice to financially illiterate dingbats, and he gets really frustrated with them. And he's funny. Who do we have here? Caleb Hammer smacks down ignorant blue-haired lib who claims America spends everything on bombs and would rather live in Germany. Are you sure? Let's take a look.
You're not patriotic?
With blue hair, you think I'm patriotic?
You can still be patriotic and be wrong about economics.
Why would I be patriotic when we're spending more money on bombs than we are for social justice or
Are you
The social programs.
We spend 50% of the federal spending on social programs.
Like what?
Social programs, Medicare, Medicaid, mandatory spending, SNAP benefits, veteran benefits.
You mean the SNAP benefits that people just got taken away from them?
You think everyone just got taken off SNAP?
Most people
Everyone.
did.
You think the majority just got taken off SNAP?
Yes.
Our military spending is 10 to 20%.
And
the
that's
bombs you're freaking out about, 10 to 20%. It's egregious. We spend 50% on social programs.
I'm a military kid, and I can tell you that shit is not needed.
Girl, you literally just got the information that you were just wrong, and yet you're still doubling down. We don't spend the majority on bombs.
Okay, maybe it's not the majority, but it's
It's not even close to the majority. It's not even a quarter.
It's far too much.
Okay, you can advocate for that, but that all of a sudden doesn't mean, you just said we don't spend anything on social. That's where like more than half of our money goes. Like, what are you talking about?
I think it needs to be more
as
into
usual,
social
you're
programs.
uninformed about everything.
I think it needs to be more.
And then
into
you're just
social
not
programs.
patriotic. What do you mean? We spend more than like anyone. Well, number-wise, absolutely.
Yeah, well, technically.
By technicality.
Like per capita.
By money, by per capita, by yes. We do a lot. We're a very progressive nation. We have the most progressive income tax in the entire Western world.
Okay.
Oh boy. I love when people have no idea what they do. And then they're just not patriotic. It's like, dude, you're literally not a contributor. You should be the most patriotic person. You contribute nothing.
I mean,
you contribute literally nothing. You've only been a taker. And yet you're the one that doesn't like the country?
I would
then the
leave
one
if
that
I
gives
could.
everything is the one that likes it?
I would
Leave for
leave if I could.
where?
Anywhere. I used to live in Germany. I'd rather
Grass
live
is
there.
always greener. What would you be doing in Germany?
I could still be an artist there.
Yeah, you think Germans just immediately, they're like, oh, you want to be an artist? Let's give you $80,000
Well,
a
I
year.
know that they're not going to give me $80,000 a year for
What do
being
you
an
think
artist.
would all of a sudden happen?
I think if I was able to do my art full time, I'd be able to make the money I need to make.
Yeah, Germans trying to pursue art and failure. That always goes over well.
All right, well, yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
To give her credit, at least she had a laugh there at the end, you know. And he said that's a good one. So give him credit for that. But if you're, you know, under the, you know, delusion that they're going to change their mind, that they're capable of doing that, no, it's too late. She's already dyed her hair. It's over, right? She's picked her side. She's already parasitized by the mind virus. Now she's impervious to reality, right? Her purpose now is to try and spread the mind virus, the idea pathogen, to other people. Now, fortunately, Caleb Hammer is totally immune to it, right? So it will have no effect on him. But she'll try. She's trying, even though she knows that it's hopeless. I should say the idea pathogen that has parasitized her brain is trying, right? Because it will continue to mindlessly just keep parroting the same gibberish over and over and over again. This will have no effect. This won't change her mind on anything, right? Everything he's told her has already disappeared, you know, dissipated out of her ears into the progressive ether. So none of it matters, right? I just show you this because it's funny. By the way, Germany. I know that the GDP per capita in the EU, the average is 41,000. And in the United States, it's over 80,000 now. So double. People in the United States are twice as wealthy as people in Germany. Well, in the EU, I should say. But let's do a fact check and find out exactly what it is. Hold on.
Fact check.
All right, hold on. Just take a second. What is the GDP per capita of Germany and of the US? All right, let's check it out. Hold on. 1 second. It's even higher in the United States than I thought. I thought it was about 85,000. It's 94,000 GDP per capita in the United States. 65,000 for Germany. So Germans are 2/3 as wealthy as people in the United States. That means it's harder to live there. Harder to live. Let's just make sure this is US dollars. Let's see. Hold on a second. Just want to make sure. In US dollars. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, that's in US dollars. So That's crazy. Alternative 2024 data indicates 86,000. 86,000 in 2024. That's what I was going off of. So, and 55 in 2004 for Germany. So it's gone up a bit, but still, they're only 2/3 as wealthy as Americans. So these people have no idea what they're asking for. I mean, she wants to move somewhere where she doesn't speak the language and will be poorer. Poorer. And I imagine there will be even less interest in her slam poetry or whatever the hell she does. All right. I want to see what you guys have to say about that. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Did I lose the... Let's go back. Oh, God damn it. Hold on. Just give me a second. I got to bring the sanding video back. Should find it in a second. Everybody start your PhD thesis right now. No, got it. Don't worry. Don't start. Don't start on your epic poetry. All right, there we go. Sanding class. All right, what are you guys talking about? Nevada says, so go to Germany and never come back. I don't think she'd like it there that much. Also, it's not so safe walking around at night in Germany now for some reason. Some infinite immigration from the Middle East reason. Amazing Faces, how you doing? Dame Pam, how are you? Says, I was stationed in Germany in the 80s, and it was really expensive and hard to live then too. Live there then too. Yeah, it's a lower standard of living. Higher taxes, the thing about those European countries with their social programs is that there's fees for everything. Let's see. Also, they have low corporate taxes. Like Sweden has very low corporate taxes because they know they need to have industry in their country to support their social programs. Because, socialism's all well and good until you run out of other people's money. So you need to be making lots of money. Let's see. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? God damn it. Hold on. I screwed up everything. Why is that happening? All right, there we go. All right. I fixed it up. That's never happened before, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, we already dealt with this guy. I want to watch it one more time. It's just funny.
Hello. My name is Stephanie Fritch, and I'm gonna be 100% blatantly honest about what's going on with me. The main thing is, I realize people say I look like a man, and also they realize that, they're saying that, I don't take care of myself and don't look like a girl. But the main thing is, being a trans person like I am and identify as a female.
It's a skit from the 80s. Honestly, it's a skit from the 80s. Yet now we're expected to take it seriously. The poor dear. Hold on one second. Oh, the poor dear. Oh, dear. All right. Hold on. Anyway, we've seen that before, but I don't know. It's sad what they're doing to people. Let's see. What is this? What is this? Incredible levels of retardation from Retard Finder. Well, let's take a look.
What do you not like about white people?
1, they breathe. 2, they speak. 3, they have thoughts.
But you're white and you're having thoughts. So, I mean, not very good thoughts, not intelligent thoughts, but you're having thoughts.
All of it just needs to stop. We need women in power. We need people who are not white in power. We're done with the white men. We're done.
What non-white country are you kind of looking at saying, hey, you know, they're doing it right because they don't have white people?
I don't. That's the dumbest question. Ignore.
Well, no. If they're the problem, there's people that are the solution. Who's the solution? Who's doing it right?
Women.
Women.
Look at Mexico. You can look at, anything.
Mexico's like a narco state, basically.
Huh?
Is it Mexico like a narco state, though?
They got one bad area. My God.
It's a one bad area in Mexico?
Yes.
What do you not like about white?
Wow. This is what the education system is doing to people all across the Western world. Wow. It's probably out today for the May Day celebration. Has no idea what it's about. I think these people wouldn't show up if there wasn't social media. My theory is this person, there's no way she'd be out there with her idiotic sign. Unless she could take a selfie and stick it on her Instagram or something, right? I mean, that's what they're in it for, I believe. They obviously know nothing, right? So if you genuinely cared about the cause, you'd know something, wouldn't you? Like you'd take, I don't know, like a couple of hours to like research the things that you're supposedly passionate about. They don't even bother to do that. So I think, honestly, I think that if social media went away today, 90% of this would go away immediately because there'd be no point in it. Let's see. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. All right. We've already seen that. Let's get rid of this one. All right. Let's go back to the chat for a minute before we hit this one, though. Before we hit Fauci. Let's see. What are you guys saying? What James says, Germany is very bureaucratic from what I heard. It is. It's they like a very structured life. Let's see. All right. Plunder World, how you doing? Plunder World, question, which policies do you endorse? Answer, me make pee-pee in mouth when sweat dripped out face. That's about it. Let's see. Rosie says, wait, white people are bad. Women are not bad. How is this person thinking her reasoning is logical? Well, it's white men. So she then said, well, it's white men, right? But also white people, but also white women are good. But they don't think about this. It's literally an idea pathogen that has parasitized their brains. They don't have agency. They don't have free will anymore. I'm not being facetious about this. I'm saying that I believe that their brain is infected with an idea pathogen that takes away their agency, right? And then they just exist, whatever their purpose in life was before, that's superseded by the need to spread the mind virus to other smooth-brained people, right? And they don't care if they look stupid. They could not care less. That's not what's driving them. It's just, can this person be infected? I'll try. Let's say that anybody who can't be infected, you call a fascist. Nevada, one place in Mexico is bad. I know. Oh, they know nothing. A lot of them, I think, seem to also believe that like Spanish is the, indigenous language of America, South America. They don't seem to understand that it's like a colonial language, just like English from Spain, which is in Europe. And by the way, like the whole ruling class of Mexico are Europeans. It's not indigenous Mexican people. It's not Aztecs. It's not Mayans. They're all the colonizers. This is another thing that seems to elude them. Because they don't know anything. Let's see. Pressure on DOJ to prosecute Anthony Fauci grows after advisor indicted with days left to charge for COVID lies. Well, okay, so Anthony Fauci has a pardon. He has a pardon from Biden. Hans Monkey, Hans Monkey. I think it's like monkey. I wonder if people in school called him Hans Monkey. I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I think it's cruel. But in any case, let's see this from Hans Monkey. Everyone should reread Fauci's last-minute pardon. The most conspicuous detail has always been the date, 2014, which happens to coincide with Fauci-approved funding routed through DASIC for gain-of-function experiments on coronaviruses at the Wuhan lab. That work was then paused after an NIH official flagged it as prohibited gain-of-function and then quickly restarted under mysterious circumstances, as acknowledged by DASIC in thanking NIH for restoring the funding. Fauci then went on to lie to Congress about it. So here he's got his pardon from Joe Biden for any offenses against the United States which he may have committed or taken a part in during the period from January 1st, 2014 through the date of this pardon, arising from or in any manner related to his service as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, as a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force or the White House COVID-19 response team, or as chief medical advisor to the president. Now, he's got that pardon, and, there is, I think, a slim chance that the pardon could be voided because Biden used an auto pen. The auto pen pardons, as Trump calls them. I don't think it's very likely. I think he's going to go scot-free. But if there is some possibility, they've got to do it within the next couple of weeks, or else there's a statute of limitations that will kick in. So what do we have here? Exclusive pressure on Department of Justice to prosecute Anthony Fauci grows after advisor indicted, with days left to charge COVID lies. So the indictment of Dr. Anthony Fauci's former advisor, David Morenz, Tuesday revived calls for the Justice Department to prosecute Fauci himself for allegedly lying to Congress about funding risky research in China before the COVID-19 pandemic. So with David Morenz, it's about the cover-up. It's about lying and the cover-up of the lab leak, right? It's about the cover-up of sending money to the lab and that the virus escaped from. It's the cover-up of the fact that the virus escaped from the lab that they were funding, right? So they tried to convince the world that the lab leak theory was just some crazy comic book thing and totally fake. And it turns out that, they were lying. Just 2 weeks remain before the 5-year legal deadline on May 11th to indict Fauci for denying under oath that he funded gain-of-function experiments that modified bat coronaviruses in the same city where the pandemic started. Morenz, 78, was charged with 1 count of conspiracy, 2 counts of destruction, alteration, or falsification of records in federal investigations of 2 counts of concealment, removal, and or mutilation of records related to the origins of COVID-19. He faces up to 51 years in prison. Trump told the Post in a phone interview on March 31st that he intended to look into Fauci's status, and Republicans say they believe acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, who is seeking the role permanently, might be willing to test Trump's assertion that former President Joe Biden's preemptive auto pen pardons, including for Fauci, are invalid. Now, I think it's probably pretty unlikely, but maybe, and that's why the clock is running to indict him, just in case they can. So let's see. What I have here? Emails and proximal origin paper. Fauci participated in discussions that led to the paper downplaying lab origin. So this was the peer-reviewed paper, Proximal Origin, the peer-reviewed paper that was trotted out to prove that the lab leak theory, that there's no way it could have come from the bat coronavirus lab in Wuhan, which is where it originated. That was crazy. Fauci participated in discussions that led to the paper downplaying lab origins. So let's see. The proximal origin of a scientific fraud. We do not believe that any type of laboratory-based scenario is plausible. That's the key sentence in an article published in Nature magazine on March 17th, 2020, titled The Proximal Origin of SARS-CoV-2. This is by Michael Barone. What was in that? Let's see. So the real conspiracy had roots in a February 2020 conference call led by Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at the time, and Dr. Francis Collins, his boss as head of the National Institute of Health, and including the 4 scientists who would co-author the proximal origin paper. In February, as the House subcommittee documents reveal, all 4 were expressing thoughts directly contrary to what they put their names to in March. So in other words, they lied. What were they saying? I can't really think of a plausible natural scenario, wrote Dr. Robert Gary. In the lab, it would be easy. Quote, the only thing here that strikes me as unusual, wrote Dr. Andrew Rambeau, is the furin cleavage site, something much more likely to be produced in a lab than by natural transmission. Dr. Edward Holmes wrote he was 60-40 lab. Our main work over the past couple of weeks, wrote Dr. Christian Anderson, has been focused on trying to disprove any type of lab theory. But we are at a crossroad where the scientific evidence isn't conclusive enough to say we have high confidence in any of the 3 main theories. That's not exactly, we do not believe that any type of laboratory-based scenario is plausible. Eh? No, they were lying. Let's see. Why the change? As one conference call participant put it, further debate about a lab leak would, quote, do unnecessary harm to science in general and science in China in particular. This is some of the science that we didn't get from like CNN, for instance. Unstated, but known to every one of the scientists, was that Collins and Fauci had approved cooperation with the Wuhan lab and controlled millions in research dollars coveted by every scientist. So this is why, one moment. Let's see. So that was why CNN could run stuff like this. Lab leak COVID-19 theory is like something out of a comic book. Oh, you dummies. Oh, you conspiracy theorists. Oh, you conspiracy theorists that thought, had the crazy idea that it might have come from the bat coronavirus laboratory in Wuhan, which was the epicenter of the pandemic. Crazy ideas like that. So there you have it. Let's go back. So I think that probably Fauci, and this isn't even including all the stuff about hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, right? And the COVID drugs that were approved. Not even including all of that stuff, right? Just the one thing. But I think he's likely to be fine. I think that his pardon will hold. He probably won't be indicted over the next, I think it's about 10 days to 2 weeks or something. They need to do it. I think he's going to get away scot-free. All right. Let's go back to the chat for a second. And I'm actually just going to get rid of these tabs, actually. Because we don't need them. We don't need them no more. Let's get rid of that and get rid of that. All right. And let's go back here. There we go. All right. Totally on top of things. Let's see. How about an ad read? Is there a fun ad read? Is it worth it for me to do an ad read? Let's see. I mean, it's the fall of Minneapolis, but this is interesting. I've never seen this one. All right, let's do it. All right. So, you want to hear about the George Floyd story you were never told? Well, let's take a look. What is this? Hey, everybody. Quick word about one of the most important documentaries you'll watch this year. It's called The Fall of Minneapolis, produced by Alpha News and award-winning journalist Liz Collin. This film blows the lid off what really happened with George Floyd. The trial, the media lies, the police body cam footage they never showed you, and how an innocent city was burned while good cops were thrown under the bus. It's already been watched over 10 million times and praised by Charlie Kirk, Megyn Kelly, Jack Posobiec, Dinesh D'Souza, Tim Pool, and many more who care about truth and justice. Best part, it's 100% free right now. No subscription, no paywall. Go watch The Fall of Minneapolis today at thefallofminneapolis.com. That's thefallofminneapolis.com, or just search for it on Rumble. And if this film opens your eyes like it has for millions of others, please consider a 100% tax-deductible donation at alphanews.org. That's alphanews.org, so they can wake up even more Americans. You deserve the real story. Watch it tonight. Well, that is interesting. I'm going to watch it. And that was a good fill-in ad read. I think I did pretty good. I'd never seen that ad copy before, people. I think I did it justice. I think it's something we can all be proud of, especially you guys. All right, let's see. Amazing Faces says, I speak 2 languages, English and profanity. Very nice. Let's see. But keep the chat clean, people. Come on. Let's see. Good old Hans. What Jape says. Auto pen pardon. Rosie says, set aside 2020 election, void all pardons. That's harsh, but fair, I think. Tough, but fair. Let's see. Rosie says, so frustrating. All this info, all underwritten as true in 2026 when we were in 2026 when we were ostracized and accused of mental illness and evil for mentioning Fauci and his wife. Gain of function, pandemic, etc. People were so mean. Yes. Underwritten as true. Yes. So now it's true. Now we know that it's true. Yes. It was total madness, actually. And it really revealed something terrifying about the media, that it really was malign. You know, it really did have malign intent. And it would tell people literally anything. Rosie says, excellent ad read. Always need more commie hate. Well, it's the first time I read it. And, I feel sometimes I don't know if they want me to put commie hate in there, the people. I mean, I don't want to risk that 57 cents. I really don't. Not with inflation the way it is. Let's see. It costs like $800 for a steak in Canada now. So 9.8 out of 10 from Rosie. I'm not a mathematician, but I believe that's the most she can get out of 10. Thank you, Rosie. Nevada says, Rosie just shows you how many stupid, stinking commies there really are. There's so many. There's too many. Rose says, we all knew of it in 2021, called liars. Yep, just for stating reality, accurately describing reality, just obvious reality. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right, let's get to the next thing. What do we got here? So what is this? The U.S. Voting Rights Act. So the Supreme Court has gutted a part of the U.S. Voting Rights Act, and it's the part that allows Democrats to gerrymander racial districts, which sounds insane, right? Like racial districts. So just so that they can so there can be a representative based on race, on nothing other than race. Let's take a look. Eric Doherty here says, Clarence Thomas lays the hammer and liberals melted down. Let's take a look.
I would go further and hold that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act does not regulate districting at all. The dissenters, Justices Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson, warn they fear Section 2 is essentially, quote, a dead letter following today's decision. The consequences are likely to be far-reaching and grave. If other states follow Louisiana's lead, the minority citizens residing there will no longer have an equal opportunity to elect candidates of their choice.
But they'll actually have an equal opportunity. So it'll be the same as everybody else. Right now, it's not that, right? It's saying like you have to have districts where only one color person can get elected. That's not equality. That's just corruption, as far as I'm concerned. I would go further and hold that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act does not regulate districting at all. That's from Clarence Thomas. No more racial gerrymandering. Redraw it all. Kagan lost it. Section 2 is essentially a dead letter. The consequences are likely to be far-reaching and grave. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like just a way to cheat, right? They're saying, no, you can't do this. That's not constitutional. What is this? Politics and Poll Tracker. Clarence Thomas, in his concurrence agreeing with the Supreme Court's decision, said today's decision should largely put an end to this disastrous misadventure in voting rights jurisprudence. So, and this is voting down Louisiana's congressional map, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority-minority district. No compelling interest justified the state's use of race in creating SB 8. And that map is an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. It's 6-3, Supreme Court. So it's just cheating, essentially, right? Under the guise of equity. Here's from Tom Fitton. Let's watch this. So this is a big story, by the way. I mean, this is a very big story because it could affect the midterms.
We shouldn't put people in congressional districts on the basis of race. The Constitution prohibits it. You can't be denied equal protection of law on the basis of race. Does it get any simpler than that? Does it? And we're hoping the Supreme Court follows Judicial Watch's lead and the lead of many other observers who really want to end the racial strife and division here in the United States that's furthered by encouraging politicians in the states to segregate and separate voters by race into congressional districts. I just can't believe that we even have to make the point to the Supreme Court in this day and age. We shouldn't put people in congressional districts.
See, the left wants segregation, though. Like, look at universities across, it's not just the United States, across the Western world, right? All are starting their affinity groups. They call it affinity groups. It's just racial segregation, right? An affinity group means no white people, right? So it's explicitly segregation. They want that. It's like the left just wants every Western country to be just a bunch of warring tribes. Like they've thrown the idea of, real equality under the law out the window. We don't have it in Canada anymore, right? We have, differently tiered justice for different groups based on immutable characteristics. It seems like the left genuinely just does want a bunch of warring tribes fighting each other for eternity, fighting each other for power. It's frankly insane. I mean, In the 90s, I think, it was around in the 90s that the idea of, you judge somebody by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, reached its zenith, right? The Martin Luther King thing. It reached its zenith around then. And then the left just started hacking away at it because it didn't serve their purposes, right? It's hard to get people to turn people into revolutionaries, right? If they see everybody around them as just the same, all with, with common goals, right? And a common future together. And if you don't see that, your neighbors as enemies, race enemies or whatever, it's hard to turn them into revolutionaries. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And it's just marching the Western world to disaster. I mean, all we have is all of history to guide us on this, right? History has passed out its verdict on this stuff, on deciding that some people are more equal than other people's. History has handed down its verdict on this stuff, and it couldn't be more obvious. All right, it doesn't take you to a good place; it takes you to a bad place. It always has. So CBS just admitted that the Supreme Court's ruling. Well, let's take a look here. What's this? So from CBS News.
Supreme Court just issued a ruling on a potentially groundbreaking redistricting case that could impact, for many years to come, the power of minority voters in this country. It focuses on the constitutionality of Louisiana's congressional map and how it was redrawn. The justices determined if Louisiana lawmakers properly balance constitutional and Voting Rights Act protections. I want to get straight to CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford, who has been reading through the opinion. Jan?
Well, Major, we just got this ruling within the last couple minutes. The justices in a 6-3 vote, a decision written by Justice Samuel Alito for the other 5 conservatives, are striking down a second majority black district in Louisiana, ruling that state officials focused on race, and that amounted to an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. Now, this decision is a major one under the Voting Rights Act. It will go well beyond Louisiana. It's going to make it based on what we're seeing so far, it will make it harder for state officials to draw up these so-called majority-minority districts, which have been used for decades and have increased black representation and minority representation in Congress. And it also, I think, will call into question about a dozen or so existing majority-minority districts, mostly in the South. Now, those districts, as you know, Major, have been a way for Democrats to pick up seats in some of those states, those red states in the South. So,
see, that's what it's all about. A way to pick up seats, but I mean, it's obviously socially harmful, right? To tell people, right, that your interests are not the same as people who are not part of your identity group, right? This is how you foment, this is how you foment division, right? And resentment, which is, I think a byproduct that the Democrats are perfectly happy with. Let's see. What do we have here? So let's take a look at this. So this is going to be consequential for the midterms.
Good morning. Okay, so this at first blush here is a win for the plaintiffs who were not black plaintiffs. They were non-minority voters who challenged this decision. These 2 districts that were minority majority. Essentially, Louisiana had drawn up districts and then they were told in a legal battle that they had not represented black and minority voters sufficiently. They went back and drew a second district. So they had 2 of these minority majority districts. Well, then non-black voters sued and said, this is now violating our rights on the basis of race. So it looks like this is a 6-3 decision. There is one concurrence here, but it looks like the dissent sticks together with Justices Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson. But here's what the majority says. They say in some, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority-minority district, no compelling interest justified the state's use of race in creating SB 8. That was those 2 new districts. That map is an unconstitutional gerrymander, and its use would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights. Now, this opinion is almost 100 pages long, so we're going.
So as you can see, here it is now, gerrymander districts. So now it'll allow all of these states in the Southeast to get rid of those gerrymandered districts. And the map looks a lot different, doesn't it? So this is why Democrats will be so outraged, right? And they're all in the middle of their, in blue states of gerrymandering as much as they possibly can right now. They have been, and they're doing it right now. So, but this is an advantage to Republicans, and I think it's just fair. It's just fairness, right?
To see if it says something more broadly about the Voting Rights Act. That had been the fear on the left, that somehow this decision, if it was favorable for those challenging these maps, that it would somehow do a big chunk out of the Voting Rights Act. Haven't gotten to language that suggests that yet. It sounds like this decision is primarily about what happened in Louisiana. So we'll keep digging through this. But for right now, it's a win for those who were challenging these two minority-majority districts. Now, as we read through this and figure out the broader implications, there were 20-plus districts across the country that would have potentially lined up with this decision. They could be open to challenges that they were drawn on the basis of race, or that it was the primary factor that was used in drawing those districts. Most of those are throughout the South.
21 districts, right? So this is consequential. This is consequential for the midterms. All right. Hold on. All right. So I think that's hold on. Let's go here. So this is Representative Wesley Hunt. And according to Eric Doherty here, he just gave the perfect response. Let's take a look. So he's a Republican in Texas. What does he say?
There's been a lot of talk how there won't be any black Republican members in the new term. Yeah. What do you make of that?
Nothing. I don't understand how that's relevant.
Is it a problem like recruitment? Or
I don't think it's a problem with anything. I'm not here because I'm black. I am here because I'm qualified representative for Congressional District 38, and the American people choose who they want to choose. Yeah. And the one thing I don't want to get into is this game of race bait all day, every day. If there's 4, if there's 10, if there's none, what we are talking about is who is the best person that is best qualified to fill a seat, regardless of the way that they look. And I tell people this all the time till I'm blue in the face. I represent a white majority district that President Trump would have won by over 20 points, and I won by 25 points the last time I ran. I'm being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. I don't care how many black people are here. I want the most qualified people that are here.
And
thank you.
Oh, got it. Thank you, Harrison. There's been a lot of talk how there.
Yeah, it's kind of the irony of the whole thing, too, is that the only people that will vote for somebody who's not part of their identity group, their cultural group, whatever, are white people. They're the only ones who'll do it, right? Like a white person's not getting elected in one of these, racial equity districts, right? So, I mean, the world is full of ironies right now, isn't it? All right, let's move on. Let's get rid of that tab. Go back to the chat for a second, see what you guys are saying. And let's see. Dame Pam says, Fauci's jury should be comprised of beagle owners. That's a good one. And I think you're right. The horrible things that they were doing to those beagles. I mean, horrific. That's how you knew he was a real psychopath. And let's see. I mean, it's funny, right? Like, it's weird how the human brain works, right? I mean, the real outrage came when people found out about the beagles, which was horrible. But, there's also people involved, too. Nevada says, truth always wins in the end, but sometimes it takes forever. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that, there are, globalist leaders who look forward to a future where truth always loses forever. They look at 1984 as a guidebook, right? They look at China and drool, and think, just dream about that kind of totalitarianism that it seems like there really is no way out of, not internally. It'll just go on forever. North Korea, North Korea can just go on forever like that. Let's see. Ottawa James says, the 3 worst justices surprise. Yeah, exactly. I know what James says. Geez, even in Canada, we have to show ID to vote. Yeah, I mean, Canada's elections are far more secure than American elections. And throughout Europe, too, I have to say that theirs are as well. The United States is really an anomaly with like California with Gavin Newsom making it illegal to ask for ID to vote. I mean, that's just bizarre. That's Banana Republic stuff. And as Banana Republic as Canada has become, even we're not that bad. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? So a little thing on Trump here from Pascal Najati. Says, just in, wild moment in Georgia. So what happened here?
See what he wants? He wants me, let's see, dear American.
It's the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But I don't want his name on there. So can you help me out?
I love it. He doesn't want Biden's name on his Lifetime Achievement Award. Yeah. Mine's not an auto pen. This is. That's an auto pen. See that? You know that's an auto pen. See, that's an auto pen. You want me to cross it off?
Yes. That's it right there.
That's an auto pen signature.
That's it.
You think he signed it? He didn't sign that. Crazy, man. Crazy stuff, right?
That's crazy.
How he did that auto pens. It's insulting when you think about it. Okay, now you have a real Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you, everybody.
Trump is hilarious. He is funny. Like nobody else would do that. Like just say, "Oh yeah, I'll just want me to cross it out." Nobody else would do that. Even like those people on CNN and MSN, they're going to miss him. They're going to, whatever they say, they are going to miss him because it's just totally unique. There will never be another one. Never be another one again. What will the history book say in 100 years? What will the history book say in 100 years? My God. Let's see. All right. Let's keep moving. What do we got? So, so we have the spring update, spring fiscal update. So the budget isn't looking very good still. It has been it's a little bit less than what they thought it was going to be because the price of oil has gone up. So increased oil revenues. So the Liberals can thank Alberta for that. But it's still an insane amount. Let's take a look here. Hold on. Hold on. Where did I want to start this? Let's start with Andrew Scheer here. He's saying more and more people are realizing Carney isn't special. He's just another liberal. Well, he's Turbo Trudeau. I predicted he would be Turbo Trudeau. And by his spending, yes, he is.
Hang on to your wallets. Mark Carney just tabled another massive deficit in his spring economic update. Mark Carney is now running the largest deficit in Canadian history outside of the pandemic, even more than Justin Trudeau. You know the old saying, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. If you voted for Mark Carney because you thought that things would be different, that he would bring change, everyone is now saying that he is continuing the exact same approach as Justin Trudeau.
Well, you asked, what does it tell us? Not much. I mean, we're still waiting to find out what this government's economic vision is and how it differs from the old government that it supposedly replaced.
Justin Trudeau.
By the way, you're starting to see some, real journalism from like the CBC and like the like Globe and Mail, even the Toronto Star, after Carney got his majority, right? After, and everybody's paychecks are safe, everybody's subsidies are safe, right? All of a sudden they're putting on a little show to show us how, oh no, we were real journalists all along. See what we're doing now? But it's all after Carney got his majority. Now they can pretend to be journalists for a little bit until the next election cycle.
In his last budget, projected a $31 billion deficit for this year. Mark Carney's deficit, over $60 billion. It's over twice as bad as Justin Trudeau's. I don't think anyone thought you could be worse than Justin Trudeau when it comes to managing finances. Mark Carney said, hold my champagne. I'm sure a lot of people say, these massive numbers, it's hard to comprehend. Well, for the average Canadian family, now $3,400 a year from your paycheck will go just to pay the interest on all that debt that the Carney Liberals have racked up. In fact, the federal government, under this Liberal government, is now spending more on interest payments to bankers and bondholders than on healthcare. So many Canadians.
And let's go back to that for a second, that graphic for a second. All right. So $54 billion. That's just to service the interest on the national debt. All right. That is more right there than the provinces get for healthcare from the federal government. That's going up to $80 billion. $80 billion by 2030-31. $80 billion. Okay. And I know that Mark Carney got his PhD from Oxford. Okay. So what? Who gives a shit? I don't care about his credentials. I care about results. And we look at this, $80 billion just to service the debt that he's racking up. This isn't moderate. This isn't, savvy economics. This isn't, responsible fiscal management. This is lunacy. This is somebody on an insane spending spree.
And on healthcare, so many Canadians work so hard and they see their paychecks dwindle as taxes go up and inflation takes big bites. And Mark Carney said, we're going to spend even more. He's putting it all on the national credit card, but he doesn't have to pay it. You do. Mark Carney's added $37 billion in new spending. You know what the government doesn't have? $37 billion. And take a look at where some of this money's going. $3 billion for international climate finance. This is the same scheme that Mark Carney tried to cobble together when he was at Brookfield with his Global Net Zero Alliance that is now bankrupt. He's spending $11 million on one summit with global elites. Justin Trudeau tried the exact same thing, but because they're all doing the same liberal policies, it didn't turn into anything for Canadian taxpayers. There's two.
Yeah, we don't even need to finish it, right? And money for billions of dollars for net zero. What did people think he was going to do? And it's going to end up being a lot more than that in subsidies for net zero boondoggles. The Mark Carney's crown jewel was his banking alliance, right? His net zero banking alliance. And their job was to get banks to not fund energy projects like oil, gas. That was the purpose of it. All right. It folded right before Mark Carney ran to be prime minister. So I wonder if these things are connected at all. If he wanted to be prime minister so that he could have the national credit card, to max out the national credit card, to resurrect his net zero finance goals. Don't forget, Mark Carney was the UN climate finance envoy. He's built up this infrastructure. This was his life's work for like the last 15 years. All falling apart. All of a sudden, he's prime minister. He's got the national credit card. He can max it up. He can max that credit card out to pursue his net zero goals. I think that's why he wanted to be prime minister. And Canadians are going to pay for it, and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren are going to pay for it. Here, from the Globe and Mail, on the economy, Carney remains committed to the Trudeau playbook. Even the Globe and Mail is saying it. Well, he's got his majority now, so it doesn't matter. He bribed opposition MPs to come over to the Liberal Party, so now he can just do whatever he wants, right? He's safe. Everybody's safe now. All the Globe and Mail subsidies, they're all safe now. The CBC, safe now. So now they can play it being journalists for a little bit. Play it being objective. Play it being able to recognize reality for a little bit. Won't last too long, though, I'm sure. This was posted by Maxime Bernier there. Clearly, Ottawa's fiscal trajectory is unsustainable. Really? Where was all this before Carney got his majority? Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Here's Franco Terrazzano, taxpayer advocate. Franco Terrazzano, federal director of taxpayer.com, or the Canadian Taxpayers Association. He has some things to say about this budget. Let's take a look.
Breaking news, folks. We just got Carney's budget update, and it is a borrowing binge. Let me tell you. Okay, so 6 months after Carney's November budget, and Carney is already on track to spend $6 billion over that budget. Let's break down the numbers, folks. It's bad news. Spending in the budget was supposed to be $588 billion. Now we find out that Carney's going to spend $594 billion. So 6 months after the budget, and Carney is already on track to spend $6 billion over budget. And it is a borrowing binge, okay? So the government is going to borrow about $65 billion this year. That is gross. There is no plan to balance the budget and stop borrowing money. No, just more money wasted on debt interest charges. So the federal debt will reach about $1.4 trillion this year. Sorry, I should have warned you. If you had small kids, don't let them watch this video because the debt is gross. Now, more debt means more money wasted on interest charges, and they're wasting a whole bunch of your money paying interest on the debt. So debt interest charges will cost you, dear taxpayers, about $59 billion this year. More than $1 billion every week wasted on debt interest charges. That is the cost of building a brand new hospital, by the way. So instead of a brand new hospital being built every single week, that money is going to the bond fund managers on Bay Street to pay interest on the debt. Now, what's the last?
Yeah, you can see this is not, it doesn't seem like responsible fiscal management, does it? It doesn't seem like responsible economic management of the country. Let's see, from Franco Terrazzano here again. Trudeau planned to borrow $112 billion from 2025 through 2029. Carney plans to borrow twice as much, $242 billion over those same years. Don't brag about this budget update. It's a debt disaster. He's Turbo Trudeau, and I've been saying this all along. Marty up north posted this. Things are so bad, it's barely worth analyzing. This is the revised budgetary balance. Yeah, it's just massive debt. Those are minuses there in front of those numbers, right? Wow. Let's see. Even the CBC is getting into the game. Even the CBC is criticizing Carney on this. Now that he's got his majority, not a peep from them before. Now he's got his majority. Everybody's money's safe. Their funding is safe. Now they can pretend to be journalists for a little bit. CBC Watcher posted this. Here's Andrew Coyne.
Okay. Out of kindness, I will go to Andrew first because Andrew always has a lot to say about budgets. And now that we're a couple days after, I wonder whether you've thought any more about where the spending is directed, and the fact that a lot of it is still deficit spending, and that is the key criticism of the Conservatives.
Well, yeah, and it's more spending than the Liberals precededly, more than Justin Trudeau ever spent. It's more than they'd promised to spend in the fall budget. So every time the Liberal government, whether it's Trudeau or Carney, issues a new forecast or a new statement of the thing, the spending limits always seem to be nowhere in sight. They just simply spend more. They simply upgrade their projections every 6 months. This time, they didn't increase, in previous budgets or statements, they would increase spending from 6 months before by $10 or $20 billion a year. This time they held it to like $6 to $8 billion. So they took virtually all of the fiscal windfall from higher oil prices and spent something like 97% of it and asked to be congratulated for their fiscal discipline. Look, it could be a lot worse. There's not a lot in this budget, in this statement, I should say, or this update that's bad or that's going to take us in the wrong direction. There's just not a lot that's going to take us in the right direction. There's just an overall sense of complacency. The government seems quite happy with economic growth of 1.7% per year ad infinitum. It seems quite happy to be running deficits of 2% of GDP, 6 years after the last recession. So at the top of the business cycle, it's, the fastest growing spending item in the budget is not for health or defense or anything else. It's interest on the debt, which not so long ago was 6 cents in every dollar, is now headed for 12 or 13 cents in the dollar, $80 billion 5 years from now. It's not a crisis, let's say, it's not an emergency, but it's a high degree of complacency in the face of gathering storm clouds.
It's just amazing how rational he can be once Carney got his majority, and once it doesn't matter anymore, because Carney can just do whatever he wants, and it doesn't matter what he says anymore, and it doesn't matter what any of them say anymore. Really remarkable. Where was all this before? Where was all this before? I think we got another one here. I think this is, who is this? Oh, here's another one. Here's another one from Coin. Let's see. Let's take a look.
Last minute to you, Andrew.
Well, you sort of wonder if not now, when. You've got your majority. You're only a year into your government, so you've got lots of time left to recover if you have to do something that's politically unpopular. So this would be, conventional wisdom would say, when you were going to do your tough budget, if you were ever going to do it. So the fact that they're not suggests that it's unlikely to get any tougher from here. But you can see how we become prisoners of expectations, merely to that because they didn't push spending to the outer limits of what Justin Trudeau might have dreamed of doing, doesn't mean we have an austerity budget. In real per capita terms, they're going to be spending this year upwards of $10,500 per person after inflation, 10% more than the Justin Trudeau government did on average, 20% more than the Stephen Harper government did on average. So 20% more dollars after inflation per citizen is not my definition of austerity. I don't think it's anybody's.
Okay, we're going to leave that conversation.
Rosemary's getting uncomfortable. But again, where was all this before he got his majority? Where was this before? I think we know where it was, right? Let's see. Hold on. So, hold on. I want to show... I want to show you this. This is actually one of my videos here. And there is the former parliamentary budget officer who has been replaced for some reason. For some reason, Carney fired him and replaced him with an old school chum from Oxford for some reason. But let's take a look here. What is this guy saying? Not that sure. Trying this. Hold on. That is being or where is he? Hold on. Trudeau. Must be at the beginning.
Stupefying, shocking, right? This is not like it's not a funny fiscal outlook. It's a really serious fiscal outlook.
So that was last year, and I'm not seeing anything that would turn it around, that would assuage people's fears about what's happening. We see it's basically Turbo Trudeau. It's making it even worse. It's even less responsible than Trudeau, which is totally shocking. Anyway, yeah, no surprise, Carney fired this guy. I want to see what Pierre Poilievre has to say about it.
Tout d'abord, j'aimerais féliciter l'honorable ministre pour sa présentation et le remercier pour avoir proposé la simplification du crédit d'impôt pour les personnes ayant un handicap. Comme père de famille, j'apprécie ça et on est prêt à travailler.
Actually, no, I think it goes into English there, I think. But hold on. I've got another one I wanted to show you. Hold on. Where is it? Here, let's take a look at this one.
Mr. Speaker, it's just that this Liberal Prime Minister has gone from writing Justin Trudeau's policies to plagiarizing his talking points. Actually,
That's not fair to Justin Trudeau. This Liberal Prime Minister has done the impossible, and that is he has doubled the deficit that Trudeau left behind. More cost, more debt, more taxes, more on the national credit card, and more interest payments for Canadians. So once again, with Canadians spending $3,000 per family on interest for the debt, is there any limit on the Liberal credit card?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
You know, I find it, they still try and, have you heard people say that, media figures say that he's the George Clooney of finance? Have you heard that? Yeah, if George Clooney was terrible at acting and it was also a mummified monkey, then I guess he could be the George Clooney of finance.
Mr. Speaker, in the face of a tariff war, in the face of an actual war, this government has reduced the deficit.
There we go with the fear-mongering again, the fear-mongering. What have you done about the trade war, by the way? Supposed to have something done, supposed to be all wrapped up July 1st last year because you know how to deal with men like Trump. Where was all that? I guess if there had been, October apparently they were very close to a deal. Right before that got tanked. That was around the time that Doug Ford did the idiotic Reagan ad down in the States, I think, right? It seems like Mark Carney's been trying to sabotage the talks. Why? So that he can fearmonger about Trump, in my opinion.
Deficit by $11 billion. This government.
That has nothing to do with him. That's the price of oil going up. You can thank Alberta for that.
This government has reduced the level of debt across the entire forecast horizon. This government is on track to deliver $60 billion of savings for Canadians. This government's on track to reduce...
What? $60 billion of savings? You've doubled the deficit. You're running a deficit, a massive deficit. Double from what Trudeau was going to do. What are you talking about?
Spending on consultants by 20%. This government will build Canada strong.
The Honourable.
He keeps saying build Canada strong, when I think what he means is build Brookfield strong.
Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the deficit Justin Trudeau had provided for this year was $31 billion. Yesterday, the Liberal Prime Minister provided a deficit of $65 billion. 65 is bigger than 31.
Yes.
And if you read, I know I'll speak slowly for the Liberal mathematicians on the other side of the House, because as the Globe and Mail said, in the upside down land of the Liberals, a spending spree is a spending cut. Blowing a windfall of billions of dollars is prudent, and failing to prepare for a fiscal storm is, well, just good.
It's amazing. Carney, he just gets up and says they've saved Canadians $60 billion. That's just an outright lie. I mean, that's about as wrong as a statement can be. That's almost as bad as a statement during the campaign that the United States gets almost all of its semiconductors from Canada with a strong leader like Mark Carney. Maybe they wouldn't get him anymore. How would they like that? Just a total lie. That is just not true. In fact, it's so far from being true, it's bafflingly wrong for a Oxford economist. Oh boy, I think that Oxford's reputation is going to take a hit from Carney single-handedly. Yeah. Mark Carney. So this is the new parliamentary budget officer who was an old school chum from Oxford. Unlikely to tell Canadians the truth, in my opinion. And that's why she's there. What else do we have? What else do we have from Canada? Integrity Commissioner says her office is overwhelmed with complaints about the federal government. Uh-oh. I don't think it'll mean anything. Nothing will happen because Liberal Party. If you're a Liberal, you can just get away with anything, apparently, in Canada. Let's see. This was actually from the Toronto Sun. So I guess they got the memo too. Pretend to be real journalists for a little bit. Don't worry. Carney's got his majority. You're safe. Don't worry. The funding's safe. Integrity Commissioner says her office is overwhelmed with complaints about the federal government. Really, I wonder why that would be. The liberals, really? I mean, that's impossible. I mean, let's see. They don't have any scandals, do they? Let's see. Oh, what is all this? Oh, hold on a second. What's all this? Let's see. These are all scandals. Liberal scandals going back to Trudeau. Geez, there seems to be quite a lot of them. Let's see. You know what I noticed too? A lot of Chinese. I highlighted all of the ones that have to do with China, by the way. Just so Canadians know they have nothing to worry about. Let's see. Trudeau cash for access scandal. Chinese Canadian donors. Private fundraisers at the homes of wealthy Chinese Canadian donors. How about that? Let's see. Here's another one here. Oh, this isn't China. This was just Carney took a terrorist to India. And invited him out to a big dinner, which didn't go over very well. Let's see, SNC Lavalin, like blackface, brownface scandal. The real scandal about that was he lied about it. Let's see, Chinese foreign interference, 2019 federal election. You got the We charity scandal. This is just the Trudeau stuff, but these are liberal scandals. Let's see, Chinese foreign interference, another one there. Let's see, Winnipeg National Microbiology Lab scandal. Undisclosed ties to China's Wuhan Institute of Virology and possible breaches of security protocols. Well, they took viruses from there, from the Winnipeg lab, to China. Super not supposed to do that. Arrive Ken. Let's see. Oh, yeah, they invited a Nazi to Parliament. That was funny. Let's say 2023-25 foreign interference revelations in the Hogue public inquiry, Chinese interference, 2019-2021 elections. Let's see. The government faced criticisms for low response and insufficient transparency. Yeah, I wonder if that's because the interference was always to benefit the Liberal Party for some reason. For some reason, they like the Liberals being in power in Canada. Let's see. What do we got from Mark Carney here? Hold on. Do we have? Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. Let's see. Confirmed ongoing Chinese interference. Yep. Highlighted disinformation as a major ongoing threat. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So since Carney, let's see. Paul Chang, Chinese bounty scandal. Liberal incumbent candidate Paul Chang told a Chinese language media event that people could turn in conservative candidate Zhou Tai, target of a Hong Kong China bounty over pro-democracy activism, to the Chinese consulate in Toronto to collect the rewards. He actually did that. Widely condemned as enabling foreign interference and endangering a Canadian citizen, RCMP reviewed for possible law-breaking. Chang apologized, but initially retained party support. From Mark Carney. Let's see, February 2025, during leadership debates, Carney was accused with documentary evidence of lying about his role in Brookfield Asset Management's headquarters move from Toronto to New York. He claimed no involvement and that the formal decision occurred after his January 2025 resignation from the board. Records show he chaired the board meeting approving the move. Signed December 1st, 2024. So he lied about Brookfield, right? He lied about moving the headquarters of Brookfield to New York. Additional alleged lies by Carney during the campaign claimed he helped Paul Martin balance the 1998 federal budget. He was not in Canada or at finance at the time. Claimed he resigned all roles to run for leader while retaining certain Brookfield ties. So he didn't resign from all of the roles that he had, from all the organizations he was involved in. He just constantly lies is the thing. Let's see. Chinese foreign interference in liberal leadership race and federal election. So they lie. So they interfered to Carney's benefit for some reason. I'm sure it has nothing to do with Carney going to China afterwards and saying, pledging his allegiance, I guess, to the Chinese-led New World Order. Paul Chang bounty scandal peaks. So, yeah, Carney stood by the guy who wanted his supporters to kidnap a conservative and turn him into the Chinese consulate for a reward, for a bounty. Chang eventually withdrew, but Carney never canned him, which is really, really weird and very New World Ordery. Let's see. Michael Ma floor crossing. Ma's writing had high Chinese-Canadian population and history of PRC-linked activity. Ma later faced backlash for meetings with Beijing-linked community leaders and a trip to China with Carney. So the conservative MP, Michael Ma, who apparently wasn't vetted at all to see if he was just a Chinese plant, crossed the floor to the Liberals, helping him to get his majority, and then went on a nice trip to China with Carney, because that looks great. And then, Michael Ma also appearing to deny human rights abuses in China. So nothing like what a Chinese plant would do. Ongoing ethics concerns over Brookfield assets and conflicts. House Ethics Committee 2026 report recommended mandatory divestment of Carney's U.S. $6.8 million in unexercised Brookfield stock options within 60 days and blind trust reforms, citing insufficient independence. Carney faced criticisms for undisclosed compensation details and meetings with former executives while in office. I mean, you just can't make it up. Oh, it saved blind trust and stuff. Yeah. Oh, well, I was just meeting these former, these executives to talk about the weather. Sure. So, as we can see, lots of the Liberal Party has just a long history here of scandals and corruption. And yeah, I guess we don't have to worry about it, though, because let's see. The Integrity Commissioner says her office is overwhelmed with complaints about the federal government into paralysis. So, yeah, we don't have to worry about it because we just won't hear about it. Harriet Soloway described how her team of 9 investigators and 7 lawyers is drowning under a deepening caseload it doesn't have the resources to get under control. Her request to have $14 million added to her office's annual budget, pegged at almost $8.2 million in the 2025-26 fiscal year, went unanswered in Tuesday's spring economic statement that detailed tens of billions of dollars in new spending by the federal government. So she didn't get the money she needed to investigate corruption. And I can't imagine why. All right. Everything's going just fine in Canada. All right. Let's get back to the chat. What are you guys talking about? Let's see if we can do another ad. Let's check it out. Is there another fun? Ooh, try Nova Health. That'll be fun. Let's do that one. Let's go. All right, people. Access Med, powered by Nova Health, is a revolutionary, but not communist revolutionary telehealth service that offers fast, free online evaluations and free home delivery, which is the best kind of home delivery, of customized compounded medications, offering custom weight loss support, ivermectin therapy, and it's the best kind of mectin. Everybody knows it. Hair restoration, cosmetic rejuvenation, custom ED treatments, and more. You can complete your visit in less than 10 minutes, and I can't even believe that. That's so convenient. And there's no subscriptions or recurring fees ever. We hate those, don't we? Thank God they don't have those. We've made getting started easier than ever. Simply follow the link, choose the product or treatment you're interested in, and then complete a quick online evaluation, the best kind of evaluation, by the way. Within days, your custom meds will arrive at your door. It's like a miracle, people. Mention Rumble in the coupon code. Mention a Rumble in the coupon code and get 10% off your first treatment. It's so great. I can't believe it's even true, but it actually is. You know what to do. Oh, yeah. Love reading the ads. I love it. That was a beautiful ad copy there. I believe that's the first time I've read that one. I think I did well. I only tripped over my own tongue once. But pretty good, I'd say. Pretty good. It's almost like, and I know you're all thinking this, it's almost like I was born to read that ad. And that alone. Maybe that was my whole purpose in life, was to get to this moment to read that ad. I think I did a bang-up job on it, by the way. And I even got a bit of commie hate in there. So beautiful. That might be the best 90 cents I ever earned, people. What are you guys talking about? Nevada says, I'm going to miss him when he's gone. I think you're talking about Trump there. Even his haters will miss him because life will be more boring. Let's see. Nevada says, probably there won't be any books in the future. Maybe. JJ Nevada says, Turbo, True China. True China. He's like a man, but he's also vagina. So we call him True China. It's not nice. Not very nice. Let's see. Dame Pam says, meanwhile, hydro, taxes, phone bills, gas, insurance, rent, bank interest of loans and mortgages, etc. keep going up, but not wages or seniors' pension. Mark Carney doesn't care about that. He cares about extracting as much money as possible and funneling it into net zero boondoggles that will only benefit him and his friends, obviously. I think that should be obvious to everybody by now. Let's see. Izzy says, but Carney's an international banker. He must know what he's doing. This is the thing. He does know exactly what he's doing. It's just that his interests, his motivations, right? His incentives are not Canada's, right? He's in it for Carney. And unless you're buddies with him, it's not going to help you out. Dame Pam says, floor crossers should be forced to resign through legislation. Yeah, just, and it doesn't matter which, just anybody, a liberal going to conservative, there should have to be a by-election. Let's see. Ottawa James says, LOL, good old Pierre. He's very good. He's very good in Parliament. Trudeau's Forever says, Carney's loud talking voice is cringe. Now I'm starting to worry that my voice is too loud. It's cringe. Uh-oh. Let's see. Should we shut off the stream? No. We'll keep going. I'll control it. Dame Pam, Carney is looking much like a con artist, eh? Absolutely. What are we going to call the Carney voters? So, Trudeau voters were trutards, which was perfect. But Carney voters, I mean, the best one I can think of, and I think we settled on this like last year, was Carntards. But we haven't been calling them Carntards. We haven't been calling them anything. I think we're gonna go with Carntards. I think so. Let's see. What are we talking about? Health, who wants that? Is yes, I know. It's crazy. Let's see. Nevada says, good ad, Richie. Thank you so much. Oh, James says, LOL, Richie is a yakety tonight. Yep. More so than normal, I think. All right. JJ Nevada says, Carney Clowns. Carney Clowns, I like it, but Tard has got to be in there somewhere. So maybe Carney Clown Tards. Does that work? Carxis? I think that Mark's Carney works as well. All right. Let's get on with it. Let's see. Integrity Commissioner. Yeah, we did a long thing on that. Did we have anything else we wanted to do? Oh, yeah, that was dumb. What's this? Very quickly. This poll here shows why Canada is so screwed. Look at federal vote intention by age. 18 to 29, it's even. 30 to 44, 1% up with the Conservatives. 45 to 59, 42% Conservative, 40% Liberal. 60 and over, 53% to 29. So that's a 24-point advantage. That's it. This is it. Right? So, and there's lots of awesome, great boomers in Canada. Some of you even watch this show. But the liberal boomers are selling out everybody out. They've pulled up the ladder, and they don't care. They're laughing about it. They're so incredibly smug about it. They seem to be completely and utterly uninformed, and they don't care. They just like Mark Carney. Oh, I just like him. I just like him. Oh, well, Oxford. Oh, credentials. It's going to take him coming after their home equity. And even then, are they going to be too stubborn to change their minds? I don't know. I got a feeling when he goes for their home equity, which I think that they will, and it's something that the Trudeau government studied, I'm sure under Mark Carney's advisement while he was advising Trudeau from 2020 onwards. So I think he's probably I don't think that Carney is going to run again in 2029. I think he's going to fill his pockets and then get out and pick whichever castle in Switzerland he wants to live in. So I think he's going to go after those liberal boomers' home equity. And maybe, either they're going to be too stubborn to admit that they were completely wrong, or they're going to go to war, right? It's going to be like, you remember when they were protesting at Tesla dealerships? It'll be like that times like 1,000. By the way, watching a bunch of leftist seniors protesting a Tesla dealership was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. The most ridiculous and hilarious thing I'd ever seen. Table Salt said, "This is insane. Canadian boomers are entirely propping up Mark Carney. This is a generational conflict now. It's liberal boomers. There's a lot of great boomers in Canada who don't like what's happening. They're not selfish, right? They understand the old thing about, a good society is one where, old men plant trees, the shade of which they'll never know. They understand that there's lots of them. It's just that they are overwhelmed by these incredibly selfish, narcissistic people who just don't care about their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren. They don't care what they leave behind." And I think it's genuinely sad. It would turn into a gerontocracy. It's shameful. All right, let's move on from that. What do we got? World Economic Forum. Well, nothing good comes from the World Economic Forum, doesn't it? Mr. Nobody posted this. Digital ID will reveal who has and has not been vaccinated. Well, that seems like just the sort of thing the World Economic Forum would be all over. At the World Economic Forum's Davos Summit, Queen Maxima of the Netherlands made her position on digital ID very clear. Maybe the Netherlands should have a No Queens rally. How about that? Let's take a look.
When I started this job, there were actually very little countries in Africa or Latin America that had one ubiquitous type of ID, and certainly that it was digital, and certainly that was biometric. And we've really worked with all our partners to actually help that being, to grow this. And the interesting part of it is that, yes, it is very necessary for financial services, but not only. Sure. It's also good for school enrollment. It's also good for health, who actually got a vaccination or not. It's very good to actually...
Yet we've gotten by. Built these amazing technological civilizations without that. But now we desperately must have it, huh? Really?
Get your subsidies, from the government. When I started this job, vaccination or not, it's very good to actually to get your subsidy for financial services, but not only. Sure. It's also good for school enrollment. It's also good for health, who actually got a vaccination or not. It's very
who got a vaccination or not, huh?
Good to actually to get your subsidies, from the government.
To get your subsidies for the government. So being totally at the mercy of the government. These sound like things that she wants more than maybe just sane people would want, huh? It's about control. This central bank digital currency, this digital ID. It's about controlling what you can buy. You've had too much carbon this week. Your carbon footprint is too big this week. You don't get to buy that ground beef. Sorry. WEF rules. Oh, and by the way, you'll owe nothing and be happy. And I don't know what other things do they like to talk about. Let's see. Water, soil, and oxygen should not be infinitely accessible. Oh, let's see. So the WEF wants you to be thirsty.
When we talk about capital, we tend to think only about financial capital, about cash, financial assets, but we know that's not the only value on which our economies depend. We know that every aspect of every part of the economy is fundamentally dependent on nature, as you highlighted. The air that we breathe, the water we drink, the soil, the oceans that we need for the food that we need to consume, the minerals that we need as inputs to technology and to infrastructure. And without these forms of value, these forms of natural capital, we won't have economies. They are the fundamental building blocks of our economies. But the ways, as you said, the ways in which we have grown our economies, our models of economic development, have been incredibly successful for global prosperity. But the unintended consequences of current models of growth are simply not sustainable on a finite planet. The amount of resource that we are drawing into our economies, Earth's resources, and the amount of pollution and waste that we're pumping out, whether that's through greenhouse gas emissions, whether that's sewage into our water, whether it's plastics into the ocean, is beyond the Earth's carrying capacity. And we know that that's leading.
Oh, geez, that's pretty worrying. Maybe we should get some like supranational global organization to tell everybody how much water they can drink. That'll solve everything. That'll make for a better world. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, Elon Musk spoke at the World Economic Forum. Didn't go over well. They didn't like him much. In fact, let's take a look here. Hold on. Some very muted applause there.
That was not a large applause. Start again. That's better. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna make this interesting.
How many quotes are you going to want that are going to be after this session?
I don't know. I mean, 5.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. It's been an amazing week here in Davos.
Yeah, they don't seem very enthusiastic. But, you know, in their defense, Elon Musk believes in free speech, that legal speech should be allowed on the internet. So, you know, obviously they're not going to be a fan of that. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on a sec. I wanted to show you something else. What else have we got? What did this guy? Let's see. Oh, yeah, here's Mark Carney. There's Mark Carney at the World Economic Forum. Let's take a look here.
President Trump and a lot of people who agree with him condemn globalism a lot. And I suspect, you know, you would be the kind of epitome of a globalist. You know, you worked for Goldman Sachs, I believe. You were a central banker. You know, you're comfortable and lived in several countries. Is globalism, first of all, is it a thing? And is it over?
I think, well, look, understanding how the world works, having an appreciation for other cultures, understanding the connections, and being able to, or at least appreciating ways that how we connect, whether it's through technology, trade, and
President Trump and a lot of people.
I don't know. I think he was more explicit about this on one other occasion. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Let's just see if we can find that very quickly. Let's see. Mark Carney. Let's see. Oh, here we are. Yeah, I think he was more explicit about this globalism thing and himself being a globalist. Here, let's take a look.
My strength is I know how the world works. I know how to get things done. I'm connected. I can deliver for the country. My weakness is, you know, people will charge me as being elitist or you know, a globalist, to use that term, which is, well, that's exactly, you know, it happens to be exactly what we need.
Well, he was pretty clear there. I mean, at least he was being honest there. I mean, maybe for the only time in his life, he was being honest. So thanks for that. Thanks for that. All right. Let's move on. What do we got here? So Canadian immigration, not going great. Let's see. Government, IRGC members are inadmissible to Canada. Also government, we can't comment on this case. All right. So here is Gary Anandasingari, who is Canada's very own affable halfwit. He's laughably incompetent, bafflingly incompetent, as a matter of fact. Also, Gary isn't his real first name because his real first name is unpronounceable. Let's hear Gary.
Ensuring the safety and security of Canadians is our top priority. We cannot comment on an individual case due to privacy laws, Mr. Speaker, but I want to assure all Canadians that Canada has rigorous admissibility requirements.
Due to privacy laws? Really? But privacy of like the IRGC guy? Really? Canadians don't have a right to know? So this strikes me as kind of misplaced priorities here.
And we've been very clear that IRGC members and senior Iranian officials are inadmissible to Canada. We will continue to work with our border and law enforcement agencies to ensure the safety and security of all Canadians.
The honourable member for Calgary Nose Hill.
They can't comment on it. Is that the best that they could do for a QP line? Here's the reality. The Minister of Immigration, she issued a permit. She would have had to have done it to a known member of a listed terrorist organization. The Minister of Immigration did that. And now they can't comment on it. It's literally all over the news. Everybody in Canada needs to know how this happened and how the government's going to fix it. You can't just say you're not going to comment on it.
Here. Again, through the chair. The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Very clear.
By the way, Gary here, he's the Minister of Public Safety who has to recuse himself from terrorist files because of, I know, this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's totally shocking. It doesn't speak well of the Liberal Party of Canada, but he has to recuse himself from certain terrorism files because of connections to terrorists. This is the state of Canada.
IRGC members are inadmissible to Canada, Mr. Speaker. Senior Iranian officials are inadmissible to Canada, Mr. Speaker. We will continue to work with border and law enforcement agencies to ensure the safety and security of Canadians. Having said that, I'm unable to comment on one particular case, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. I mean, I already mentioned the half-wit thing, right?
For Calgary Nose Hill.
They're not even letting the immigration minister take the answer to a question that is directly in the purview of her department. And here's what happened, Mr. Speaker. At some point, the Minister of Immigration went, gee, yeah, it's totally in the best interest for Canada to have a member of a listed terrorist organization, an actual terrorist, get a special permit to land in this country. The only reason why they caught it was because of an independent journalist organization. She needs to get up and explain to Canadians how she let this happen.
Here. Anyone? The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Now, they won't let the actual immigration minister answer this question because they felt that Gary would do a better job. So that tells you all you need to know about the immigration minister.
Speaker, let me once again repeat what I've said already. Senior members of the IRGC and who are part of the Iranian regime are inadmissible to Canada, Mr. Speaker. The safety and security of Canadians is of paramount importance to this government. Having said that, the individual case in question, I'm unable to comment due to privacy concerns, Mr. Speaker.
Well, the legend is about Gary that if he can ever get a princess to kiss him, he'll turn into a Tamil tiger. So I don't know if that's true. Let's see. Mark Nixon posted this clip. So liberals are using special permits allowing members of listed terrorist organizations to come to Canada. You just can't make it up. Turbo Trudeau.
Gave comment in response to serious questions about how an official of the Iranian regime was granted something called a temporary resident permit to come into Canada. This is somebody who should not be admissible to Canada because of his known and widely publicized links to a designated or listed terrorist organization in Canada. So in response to this, to questions about this, he said, well, I can't comment on specific cases. That's ridiculous. Come on. Somehow, somebody in the government made a decision to override inadmissibility rules and issue this special tool to this person, which allowed him to get on a plane, land in Canada, and the only reason why we found out that he was in the country was because an independent journalist organization reported on it as such. So I'm sorry, the privacy rights or can't comment does not override answering questions on how this happened and how the government is going to fix it. Just a completely ridiculous answer that abdicates responsibility.
It's just zero sense of responsibility towards the Canadian people, the people who pay for them to exist. Shocking. Rosie says, what part of no comment does the blonde lady not understand? Well, I mean, that's it, right? I mean, once they say no comment, it's supposed to all go away, right? Oh, well, no comment. So well, I guess it's fine. I guess everything will work out then. No comment. That solves it. I know you're joking, Rosie. Let's see. Mark Nixon mopped the floor. Frank Caputo obliterated Gary Ananda Sangari and Lena Diab. Well, Lena Diab is the immigration minister. This is the one who is so incompetent that they have to get Gary to answer her questions for her in Parliament. Let's take a look.
Minister Diab, how did an IRGC terrorist get a visa to come to Canada?
Thank you very much for that question. Let me be clear. We have taken strong action as a government to hold the IRGC to account. While I cannot comment on any individual case for privacy reasons, our government has been clear and consistent. We will always put the safety of Canadians first.
Minister, I don't want talking points. Minister Ananda Sangri, do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Again, I'm unable to speak on a specific case, but I will confirm, Mr. Caputo, no individuals representing Iran were at the Congress in Vancouver today.
That's not what I asked. I asked how an IRGC member got a visa. Now, you say privacy prevents you from telling us about the case. I have a copy of the Privacy Act here. Could you please tell me what section of the Privacy Act shields terrorists from you answering questions about how they got a visa?
See, I don't think he understands. She's talking about her privacy, the Liberal Party's privacy, right? They want to keep it private so Canadians don't know.
Minister Diab, which section, please?
Again, let me be clear. No IRGC member has been admitted to Canada.
Minister, let me be clear. Which section?
I don't have those documents on me.
You are the minister in charge. 3 questions were asked to you in question period. Not once did the Liberal government allow you to get up and answer those questions. So I'll ask Minister Ananda Sangri, which section, let me be clear, which section shields an Iranian terrorist from privacy? What section precludes you, Minister, from answering questions?
Mr. Caputo, as a general rule, we do not speak about individual cases. It is part and parcel of the work that we do to ensure that privacy interests are protected. I will also say that over the last number of years, it is customary that ministers do not specifically discuss cases which may or may not be before the courts. In the situation that you described, there's a potential for litigation.
When was the last time of terrorists got a visa to Canada. I don't know when. Minister Diab, when did this matter first come to your attention?
Today is Thursday. The day in question.
You don't know when this matter came to your attention?
Well, I mean, it was this. This is the week that we're talking about. Again, let me just say.
Oh, God. Oh, another 3 years of this. Another 3 years of this. Gary, Lena. You're really disappointing us.
To ensure that privacy interests are protected.
Also, I don't really know where I am, and also I can't read. I have really no idea what's happening right now, but I'm very hungry, and I would like to go for lunch. All right. Don't get any better. Really doesn't get any better. This one, maybe we'll save that one because we're almost 2.5 hours in. All right. Let's see. Maybe this one we'll save for Sunday too. Because we've got a lot going on. Let's hold on. What do we got here? Graham Linehan. Now, he was arrested in England for tweets because he believes in basic biology. And he used to be a very, liberal guy, used to hate conservatives. He was the writer of like Father Ted and the IT Crowd, which were popular shows in the UK, and Father Ted popular all over the world, actually. And he was like a, kind of a liberal darling for a long time until he revealed that he believed in basic biology. Now he's being destroyed. His career was destroyed. His friends all abandoned him, of course, because they're all lefties with no decency or honor. And but he's stuck to his guns and ultimately got arrested for wrongthink in the UK. It's since been cleared. It's all over now, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But I think probably best for him to stay out of the UK. But he's saying this is the way. Get them to be specific and they'll fall apart. So here's a panel talking about hate. Okay, so what she's really saying here is just white Britons, right? The English.
Right.
Yeah, because that would be politically incorrect. And none of what she said would do anything about, I don't know, grooming gangs, for instance. Not a thing. Let's see. But I wonder if there's some real evidence, though, of hate in the UK and where it might be coming from. Let's see. What was this from BB Media? Remember this video, London 2021. A pro-Hamas convoy drove through Jewish neighborhoods near Golders Green using megaphones. And what were they saying? Well, I'm going to play this and you can listen for yourselves.
Fuck the movement, fuck all of them, fuck the mothers, fuck the daughters, and show the support for Palestine. Shut them up, rape the daughters, if you have to send a message like that. Fuck the movement.
So that's about as hateful as it gets, right? That's extremely, that's extreme hate, I would say, isn't it? And it's also a call to action. It's a call for people to commit horrific crimes. So I wonder why that lady won't name where hate is coming from, like, specific instances. I wonder why she won't, because he's asking a question, because he's wondering, because I'm sure he's seen a lot of stuff like that. He's heard about the grooming gangs, which were racially motivated. But for some reason, the lefty is not interested. How about these guys in a McDonald's?
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! ويا اسمس حرام! حرام يا اسمس ليش! الله أكبر! الله أكبر! لا تفتمت مقت حلال! الله أكبر! الله.
Yeah, telling English people that they can't eat at McDonald's anymore because of their religion, I guess. So this is this is what you see from this panel is what you'd call suicidal stupidity and total ideological capture, and just a total and complete unwillingness to confront reality. That's what this is, and it's dangerous, actually. This level of stupidity is incredibly dangerous. It's dangerous for your society. Anyway, they don't seem nice. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let's see. Let's go back to the chat here. What do we got? All right. Let's see. Carney Clowns, Carxist, Cardi Tunes. Cardi Tunes, that's a good one. I like that. Ottawa James says, don't count me as a boomer, bro. Dud. Let's see. Rosie asks, what does the vax have to do with banking? Well, they want to be able to control your finances so they can force you to get like vaccines that they want you to get. Otherwise, you won't have money to feed yourself and your family because they will cut it off. Let's see. I mean, it's already happened in Canada. It's not far away. I mean, they froze people's bank accounts for, donating $20 to the Freedom Convoy. Ottawa James says, bunch of puck eggs. Puck. Did I say puck eggs? Oh, God.
I ain't got a good brain.
My brain is wrong. My brain's all wrong, folks. Let's see. Thanks for hanging around, though. Izzy says, Carbon, you're not thinking big enough. Oxygen will be very profitable in the future. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if the World Economic Forum gets its way. Nevada says, make everything scarce, then ration it. Then you've got control. I mean, water, you control water. I mean, you have total control over everybody because you can only go a few days without it. A couple of days, you're basically unable to function. Let's see. Ottawa James says, Carney and his evil gnomes. That's such a good point. Dame Pam says, when we were paying his wages salary, talking about Gary Ananda Sangari, we have the right to know. Yes, we should. That's all going away now. I was going to deal with it tonight, but we'll do it on Sunday, talking about the liberal takeover of the committees. And they're making everything, they call it in camera. But it's Latin. What it actually means is off camera or secret. So the public isn't allowed to know. It's all wrapped up in secret and kept from the public. Yeah. So forget about hearing anything about corruption for 3 years. Let's see. Dame Pam says, how did this jerk ever get elected, or was he? He was, and it's because there's lots of stupid people. Let's see. Dame Pam says, it's my birthday. I sure hope we have a new PC gov at this time next year. Well, it wouldn't be a PC government. Let's see. But it is Pam's birthday, so everybody on their birthday gets a complimentary best person ever. So let's do it, everybody, right now. There's been a lot of important, impressive people throughout history, but they're all human garbage compared to Pam because it's her birthday, and she's on Radio Baloney Live right now. All right. Feel better? Let's see. Are you talking about the BC Conservative Party, Pam? Let's see. Oh no. Dame Pam was a day early the other day, and Trudeau Survivor says, so you committed birthday fraud? Oh, that's a very serious offense, birthday fraud. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna skip down to the end because there's way too much. Oh, Rosie says, Richie, thank you for your great answer to what does Vax have to do with banking? It was cynically rhetorical. Okay, well, my apologies, but yeah. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, my brain, we're 2.5 hours in, you know, my brain starts to melt this far in. It's also very hot in here. Let's see. Maybe I should just whine for a while. Just whine for like 30 minutes. My feet smell. They stink as well, which is gross. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, of the federal conservatives, Dame Pam says. Well, there's not, I mean, Carney's got his majority. There's not going to be an election until 29. Unfortunately. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got next. Let's go to the last one of the evening, shall we? Let me make sure I update that. Here's the last bookmark of the evening. So here's Joe Rogan and crew react to fake viral JP Morgan executive sex slave story. So, okay, first off, before we watch Joe Rogan here, let's go to the story. And JP Morgan, a JP Morgan executive, was accused of turning a coworker into her sex slave. Then the story started falling apart. When did the story start falling apart? As soon as people saw the photo of the guy making the accusation. When Lorna Hajdini went to work on Monday, April 27th, 2026, it would have been hard for her to imagine that by the end of the week, she would become a meme, a Megyn Kelly segment, and the most talked about finance executive in the Northern Hemisphere. Hajdini is 37. She is an executive director in JP Morgan's leveraged finance division. She has been at the bank since 2011. She graduated from NYU Stern. She volunteers for Minds Matter, a nonprofit that helps low-income high schoolers get to college. Colleagues described her to the New York Post as a top performer. None of that would matter by Thursday. Let's see. Here's Megyn Kelly and Adam Carolla calling BS on this story. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure. Okay, hold on. Let's take a look.
Stu had to have done this to another employee. And my thing is, if I'm in the jury, I'm like, if 3 more people come forward, this bitch is guilty. But it's very specific.
But do you
it's very
find
specific.
it plausible that he protested and started to cry as she was saying, your little Asian fish head wife doesn't have these cannons,
right,
and then forcibly removed his pants and was going down on him, and he was crying? He was standing there crying. I'm sorry, I don't believe that at all.
I think what you're dealing with, first off, there's no such thing as being a huge profitable entity and not getting sued for the entire length of that business. Everybody who's successful is going to get sued now. That's it. And if you're JP Morgan, I imagine there's 25 to 75 lawsuits going on concurrently at once, right?
Yeah. It didn't sound very very plausible. He accused her of drugging him with rohypnol. He accused her of drugging him with rohypnol, forcing him into sex acts, calling him my little Arab boy toy, and threatening to destroy his career if he didn't comply. He said she showed up uninvited at his apartment, removed her shirt, insulted his wife's ethnicity. He said that he called his wife a fish head, and forced herself on him while he cried. He filed under the name John Doe. So, yeah, I don't know. Apparently, it really wasn't true is the thing. None of this was actually true. All right, let's go back here. So it turned out he made it all up, by the way. He made it all up. He went, got another job somewhere else, and he He didn't even follow through the lawsuit, but it got public. And yeah, and then it's headlines, right? It's clicks. So let's hear Joe Rogan and his guests talk about it.
So it turns out that
Although actually, for copyright reasons, we're going to cut off the YouTube portion of the stream right now. Otherwise, it's just a nightmare for me. This last stuff, you know, it's a totally broken copyright system on YouTube. So I just find it's easier for me just to cut out the last part of the show where there might be issues with that. So I want to thank anybody over there on YouTube right now watching. Please come over to Rumble where we're going to continue, or you can watch the rest of the show on X or on Locals. So please join us over there. And otherwise, I'll see you Sunday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Same place. Thanks, you guys. See you then. All right. Now